right, let's get her going. It's a brand new week. Real Kyper and Bourne. The Kypreos, Justin Bourne. Sammy McKee back from Cabot Citrus Farms.
Woo-wee.
How'd you know?
Rocking the apparel.
Your T-shirt?
Oh, it's actually a light hoodie.
Is it?
Yeah, it's nice. It
Glad
actually
you're
looks good.
bored.
Not a great color for TV now that I see it.
Disco
like the
Dan
headphones,
did a
too.
great job.
Oh, I forgot my headphones. I look like an idiot.
That's all right.
I look like an idiot. Look at me.
Are you going to wear them to the ball game?
No, I don't know. I might just bring disco down here and I'm going to head out. I look like, if I wear them down there, I'll listen to Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue and I'll score the game with these things on.
Also on board, Derek Brandeo, Frank the Tank Baraska. We are live on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet Plus, and always available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where we love the chats. We love the thumbs up. Plenty of action last night.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not sure it's great action for Canadian followers
Nope.
of the NHL,
Nope.
but
The NHL is designed to turf our show. But carry on.
we'll get real deep into that. In the meantime, what a guest list today.
Yeah.
Head coach of
Must not be
Carolina.
me booking.
Is that Disco?
Oh, yeah. But I was on a plane this morning. I got home at 1.
Head coach of Carolina, Rod Brind'Amour, will join us in about 15 minutes. Jason Bukala and Mark Messier. How about Bukala centering that line?
You're not going to have to forecheck much, Boots.
Mess on the left side,
I'll go get it for
Brind'Amour
you.
on the right side, and Bukala in the middle.
Books is a goalie.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Was he?
Books is a goalie, so he doesn't have to worry about doing anything.
This would be my dream line. No joke. If I could center a line, it might be those two guys. You guys are going to do the dirty work, and I'll just like hang around the front.
That would be the easiest job ever. centering
Easiest
those
job.
two.
All right, before we dive into anything,
Okay, let's do it.
on ice, off ice,
Leafs hour.
Leafs Hour, Elliot Friedman talking about a decision awaiting on Mats Sundin.
Yeah, I think we have a clip from him. You want to listen to him talk about it?
Sure.
It's from 32 Thoughts. Friedman clip 1, please, Derek.
He's not calling the league right now, complaining about the goal last night in Anaheim.
Who's that, Freech?
Yeah, Freech.
Was he upset about
Oh,
it?
no, I don't know if he was upset. I know he was dialed right into the league after.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
If we can play that clip, please, that'd be great.
I think what we're kind of awaiting here to see how this is all going to work is Matt Sundin's decision. And we'll see where that goes this week. But as you've heard me say, I have wondered if he's contemplating a larger role than has kind of been hinted or reported. And I still believe that's true. And I think everyone's hoping to get an idea this week of where he's leaning and what he's considering. And so I think once we know where Sundin falls on this, we'll have a truer, clearer picture of what the Maple Leafs front office is going to look like.
Okay. And then I'll follow that up with reading the Andy Strickland tweet that you sent to us, Sam.
Yep. Our boy
Where
Strick.
he says, could we be in line for a Matt Sundin, John Chayka / Scott White combo in Toronto? So does that mean the three of them, or does that mean Chayka or White? There's a slash in there.
Well, I don't think it would be Mats and White.
I mean, I don't know. No,
Have those three guys ever been in a room together?
I can't
I don't know.
imagine. Yeah.
I don't know. Here's my take that when I listen to that by Freech, I start to have a little bit of concern. Now, it's a little different. Of course, I got a job to do here, right? We talk and we contemplate and tell you things that I'm hearing. There's a other side of me that is, Mats is a friend of mine and a teammate of mine, and I'll have different concerns that are outside of like sitting in this chair.
Sure.
Right. And one of them is that, to Elliot's point, I do as well start to believe that what we're talking about with Mats is something much bigger than that's been seen in the past with ex-players. right? And I'll include like Shane Doan in this,
Right.
where it's starting to feel now we are talking about something bigger
A real job.
and more significant than ex-player coming in and learning as he goes along,
Not
right?
brand ambassador.
No, this is much deeper than that. And I think that's what probably would contemplate Mats going back home to Sweden and probably talking to his wife or his family and, okay, how much do we want to bite off here? Are we all in? Or do we want to just get our feet wet? Like how much of what we want to do is going to ultimately decide our future. So it's sounding as if that's where it is right now.
I've got a couple thoughts on that. One is that Mats is a very smart man, thoughtful guy. Like, I don't think he would just take this job on. If we're talking about something like president of hockey ops, and you haven't said that, but I assume we're talking about something.
It's
head
I
of
don't
hockey
know.
ops.
I don't know, to be honest with you, like what it is. But I think, again, would he come here? And I'll only use Shane Doan because he's the last ex-player and similar kind of respect factor. And Shane was well respected. Is it to be underneath a Brad Treliving, essentially?
Yeah.
And I don't get the feeling that Mats would come here and be under John Chayka or Scott White. So what's between that?
I guess, hearing this and my bent, the way that I lean towards some of this to building hockey teams, my concern is like, how dialed in is Mats to everything? Is he going to be able to go out there and find, hey, we need 2 puck-moving mobile defenders somehow? What's the deal with offer sheets? You know how Carolina got K-Andre Miller? They had to threaten an offer sheet and leverage him out of there. How in tune with this stuff has he been?
And that, you're right. You're 100% right. And my concern as just a friend, first of all, is that there's going to be all these expectations on Mats to come in and be a savior. Mats has lived in Sweden.
Yeah.
He hasn't been here.
He follows it. He loves it.
6 hours difference in games. Did he watch them? Did he not watch them the last 10, 15 years? I don't know how long he's been out. Right? And it's like, how quickly can you come in and play a significant role here? And I would be way more comfortable if the Leafs said, we're going to blow this thing up and we're going to take the next 3 or 5 years. We don't have top picks in the next 2 years. If we get this one, it's going to be a slow build. And we're going to allow Mats the same leeway we gave Brendan Shanahan, where it's 2, 3, 5 years before we can start competing. That would make me feel a lot better than bringing in Mats now in a real significant role and saying, hey, Mats, can you help us get in the playoffs next year?
Yeah.
No, this is very complicated for me and probably a lot of Leaf fans in terms of just the relationship with Mats and how much he's beloved as a player and where those franchises at. Like, I would say that the fact that there's even any sort of quote unquote like decision that he's like mulling something over isn't even, that's worrisome for me even from the start.
Like, I'm like hungry.
That I know he has family and he's got to touch your wife. I understand all that, but like, it feels that maybe it came around quickly. If he's got to start talking about this now,
but it's not like Mats has been tied up with another team and you're waiting for some contract to expire.
You could talk to him anytime.
They could have brought him in. Like, it just seems weird now that to your point, like why is it now? Why wasn't this decision made 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Or the wheels turning about bringing Mats in months ago?
There's a lot of red flags.
Yeah.
For me. And then I hate to say that. Like I've said a million times how much I love Mats and what he's meant to me and a lot of Leaf fans, but I think it's a lot to ask right away.
I think it's a lot to ask too. And I don't want him to be put in a position where he can't look good or can't succeed or can't feel like he's
Yzerman right now.
He's getting better. But again, he's got to decide to take a significant role where the Leafs are right now and the work that has to go into it. Yeah. It is 24/7.
Well,
I've said that to you guys before, right? Like there's no sleeping. There's no nothing. There's no going back and forth, or, if the wife and kids stay, he comes for 3 weeks, he goes back for a week. It can't be that way.
One of my biggest frustrations with the past management was that they weren't proactive at all. Like early in the year when we were talking about, you got to make this move now, they never got ahead of anything. And it takes a lot of planning, and you need to be invested in this stuff all the time to see that stuff coming. So then I turned the page to, are they going to hire a couple of guys who he wouldn't have hired beneath him in either White or Chayka? And then they're going to find something and they're going to bring it to him and say, are you okay with us doing this? Like, what's that dynamic between those two people like? It feels to me like you're trying to, the same way they tried to replace Marner by committee, it feels like they're going to try to do something by committee, then going and finding a guy. You need a guy. And so, I don't know. It doesn't feel great. We haven't seen anything yet, but just as this unfolds, those are my initial kind of vibes. Like, I'm concerned about it.
Yeah.
You've mentioned how many times in the past 3 weeks that is there a bigger job in all of hockey than president of the Leafs?
No.
That's
the biggest.
That's the biggest
so to
job.
go from NHL player to whatever, and then just like president of the Leafs or title might be different.
To me, John Chayka also, another guy, been out for 5 years, 6 years. He's been doing his Wendy's thing. So Mats and John Chayka now are going to be guys that have gone from not being day-to-day on any significant NHL job to now coming in here and making key decisions to get the team back in the playoffs as early as next April. That's a big chunk to chew off.
It is, and it's not to say that they couldn't do it. It just doesn't seem like, it doesn't instill confidence if you're like, okay, a guy who's been a GM for years around the league and has been embedded in this stuff and shown he can do it, is available. Like, it just doesn't feel like that. It feels like it could work. You could build a bike out of macaroni, but it might fall apart.
I think
just get a bike.
The point you made is the best one, that if you're rebuilding and you're kind of not quote unquote letting everybody learn on the job, but you're sort of building with them too, much like they did with Shanny, right? Like when they were rebuilding and you brought him in and started from the bottom, brought in his own people, started with Lou, Babcock, all that. If it's that situation, but try to get him back in the playoffs next year. Boy.
Yeah.
With
here you
limited
go, Mats.
assets. With limited assets.
Well, they have to get really creative, and that's why I mentioned K'Andre Miller and some of the things you have to do. You have to, who's out there, who's an RFA, how can we use leverage, what contract can we take on to get, it involves a lot of work from here for the Leafs.
Yeah.
You need someone who's creative and thoughtful, and as I said, pretty invested in this stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I've covered the Leafs, right, since I retired.
Mm-hmm.
This one's got a lot of people baffled.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never seen before in 25, 30 years.
What part of it has people baffled?
The part where like it's not definitive. When Leafs have been in trouble in the past and they made changes, it's like, boom, Brian Burke. He's out there. We know behind the scenes, he'd love the job, and everything was just skewed towards that. Now it's like, I'm not sure where anybody's going.
Well, that's Sam's point might be the best one made here, which is just having to be like, come on, please.
Yeah.
Come on, we'll pay you lots.
Well, we'll pry you out of your unbelievable life in Sweden.
Yeah. And the first day, he'll sit down in front of the microphone. And you remember how, Tree's first day, a little sweaty, a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs on. What's the message? What's the direction? What's our plan? Leafs Nation's going to want to know the plan when you sit down. And you can't say, I haven't been here. I am not up on it. Anyway.
What really? We have Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, as promised, head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, let's bring in Rod Brind'Amour. Roddy, how are you, my friend?
Hey, buddy. Happy to have you. Or happy to be on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's
I'm watching
okay.
a baseball practice right now, so I got to change gears here.
No problem. Listen, Congratulations on the first round. I don't think anybody expected it to be 4 in a row. You've been knocked out in the past where you said that games like 4 or 5 in a row or four in a row, it felt like a lot closer. Was this a very close 4-game sweep?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the same way I felt. Like, it was, play here or there, and it might have been, different outcomes. And that's kind of what I get beat up over the comments there, but that's kind of what I was referring to. Certainly, when you think of a 4-0 sweep, you think, well, that's a cakewalk, and that's not what it was. So we'll take it. We obviously, can use the rest and get recovered here a little bit because it was 4 games, but they were 4 hard-fought games.
Rod, a lot of people, I'm not going to say everyone here in Toronto watches every Carolina Hurricanes game, but when they tune in playoffs and they see that one of the most effective lines is Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, and Jackson Blake. I mean, tell us about how they ended up coming together and what you like about the way they play.
Well, it's just watching, you guys know what to like about them. I mean, you just take one game and you'd be like, that's pretty obvious. But they number one, the 2 younger kids play with a lot of passion and speed, but there's a ton of skill there too. And then Taylor Hall is just, he's a former MVP of the NHL, and you can see it's in his game. He's kind of, I don't know if you say rejuvenated or whatever, but he's certainly, doing everything to show that. And so it's been a good combination. I think Halsey's helped those young kids out just to keep playing and calm them down a little bit. But, how it came about was just put 3 pretty high skilled players together and see what happens. And literally what's gone on, you say people haven't watched our team play. If you've watched it all during the year, they played like that every game. They just maybe not have gone in, but that's how they've looked almost since we put them together.
Speaking of combination, the mental and the physical aspect of Freddie Andersen's game, really, it's come together. No one will ever question how talented this guy is, and we saw it many nights here in Toronto earlier in his career. But just the decision to go with Freddie, and what made you so confident that he could get the job done in the first round?
Well, just his past experience, I think, like you said. I mean, he didn't have the best of years, statistically, that's for sure. But you know what? It's different time of year. And, a guy that's been there before for us, we've seen how he's played in the playoffs for us in the past, has been exceptional. So it wasn't really a tough decision. The other, Busty's played great all year. But when you got a guy sitting here fresh and his, with that experience, it's just a different game here in the playoffs. And you certainly have no problem going to Busty if we need to, but it was an easy decision, I think, to go with Freddie to start.
I just wanted to get your sense of the way that you want your teams to play. I don't think anyone would argue with the consistent success that your teams have had. Is there an area of the game where you feel you focus on more than maybe other coaches do to have your teams play as well as they do?
No, I would never come on the air and say that we're doing something ahead of some other teams. I think we're definitely prepared. I give a lot of credit to. I got a video coach named Chris Huffine who's been, I think, 30 years in the league and, been with all different coaches. And we're very prepared in the sense of, I feel like we're never surprised from the other team. I mean, so that might be a little bit of an edge there just with that guy's experience on our staff. But no, there's not. The trick is it's not one thing. And I think that's where, we try to cover off every part of the game. And then when it all comes down to the guys willing to buy into everything you're throwing out there. And I think our ace in the hole over the years has just been the leadership group, and we've been able to keep that intact. And so it makes the coach's message pretty easy when the top guys on the team are buying in.
So would Chris have you guys already watching Pittsburgh and Philly video?
Oh yeah. I mean, what else are we gonna do for a couple of days? So we give the guys a couple of days off, and then prepare a little bit for both. For you got practice to come up with, so you want to gear that toward whatever team you might play and whatever. So there's a lot of little things that go on. Every team's doing that. That's not anything special, but it is nice to know when you got a guy like that around helping you out. And
the one guy that I marvel at, and we just saw Kopitar in L.A., Rod, finish his last game of his career, and the guy could still look like he could play, 18 minutes a night, no problem all day long. But Jordan Staal is kind of that similar type of 200-foot guy. And at age 37, you're like going, okay, how does he do it this time of year? I mean, he is so built for this time of year, isn't he?
He is. And, you talk about him a lot down here because he's so valuable to this team. And his, now I think he's up to 18, 19 minutes a night in the playoffs. And him playing that is like other forwards playing 27, 28 minutes. If you watch how hard he plays every shift. And so that's right there just kind of tells you the value of the player. And then if you know him at all, I've been here now, I don't know, 25 years. I've been through every year that he's been here. He's never, ever in a practice day, a game day, cheated a day, and that's why that guy's our leader.
And so do you feel like, I don't know if he asked Brady to fight or Brady asked him, but do you feel like that opening fight, him answering that bell, had some impact on you guys?
Well, the fact that it went well, and because that could have turned out a little differently if one guy takes one and can't return or something. But I think it certainly went in our favor. Jordan's not a fighter. I don't know how many fights he has in his career, but to answer that and then do well, and it certainly fired up the group, and the crowd didn't really need any more firing up, but it got us started off on the right foot, that's for sure.
Right, can you just talk a little bit, comparatively speaking, from the regular season to the playoffs? And I look at your team, and you very highly talented guys for sure, and Sebastian, Seth Jarvis, Taylor Hall, ex-MVP, but it's not like one or two guys have the weight of the world on their shoulders to produce and score. And it just seems like it's just a real lunch pail kind of mentality when you guys go out there. I'm watching Caulfield, a 50-goal scorer. He's pressing right now and feeling it in Montreal. Anthony Mantha, a 30-plus goal scorer for Pittsburgh, can't find one here. Is it almost kind of favorable sometimes to bring the team together when it's really not heavily weighted on one guy?
Yeah, well, hockey is the ultimate team sport, right? And we know that. Now, all those guys you mentioned, would you love to have them? Yes. It'd be nice to have a 50-goal scorer on your team and all that, but I don't think it would change the mentality of our group. And I think you're right. I mean, I think the fact that there isn't one of those, we know we can't be looking over to the other guy to get it done. And we need everyone to produce and do their part. I mean, this series, Spesh didn't score a goal, and Jarvi didn't score a goal. And yet we still got through. So I think I'm looking at that as a real positive because those guys are going to score, but they didn't have to for us to win. So that makes, I think, the group really feel good about, where we are.
Rod, what do you think of the strengths of your decor here? Your penalty kill is fantastic, and round one seems to be they skate well, move the puck well, all those sort of things. But it just seems like, I don't know, teams have a tough time finding their way through your guys' D.
Well, we got a good group, obviously, and Jacob Slavin leads that group. I mean, we missed him for half a year, which is probably the biggest story of our season, that we were able to kind of not miss a beat, hang in there while he was gone. And then when he came back, our record, was really good. And it's amazing what one guy can do for your team back there. But he leads the group on how he defends. It's remarkable to watch him night in, night out. And, bringing in Keandre Miller was also a big plus for our group. Just the way he skates and the range he has, and the competitiveness of Sean Walker. I mean, he's an underrated player. Mm-hmm. So you go down the list, Chatfield too, the same. You never hear his name, and yet I think all 31 other teams would love to have that guy. So, and then Gosper had a great year. So everyone kind of did their part, did what they're kind of, what you would want out of them, and that's why we had a pretty good season, and we're still. I guess that's why you're talking to me still.
Can you sneak around to golfing?
No, I don't do that. I got enough time in the summer no matter what. But we could. It's about the nicest day you could have right now down here. It's another perk of North Carolina.
It sure is.
So it's nice out here.
Rod, really appreciate your time. Best of luck in the second round.
Okay, guys. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Head coach of Carolina Hurricanes, Rod Brind'Amour.
How far could Pinehurst possibly be from where he's at there?
Don't look
Hour?
at me.
I don't know.
Closer?
I don't know. I could Google it.
I'd be.
But whatever it is, it's
You'd be
close
making the
enough
trip.
to make the trip.
Yeah. You can get
For
out
sure.
of there at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. You can get out there and get 18 in.
Man, they just smothered the Ottawa Senators.
It's funny, that Stahl line, Stahl, Martinook, Carrier is really good. Really heavy, forechecks, miserable.
Can we do a quick Sens conversation here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to do
Well-
much Sens conversation.
Well, we're gonna have Books at around 3:35, so we'll do 5 minutes here. But I can't imagine what people in Toronto would be saying if the top players had the performances that their top players had in that 4-game sweep.
Oh,
Brady.
well,
Brady, awful.
I can imagine it.
Wow. I mean, listen,
It's like Matthews, Marner, Nylander. They all took their hits.
not like that. They weren't that
Yeah,
bad.
they never went bagels and got swept. I
mean,
do
there
think
is-
he has a point that it's different.
It is. That's his. Listen, you can talk
They didn't
crap
get-
about the
they
Leafs
didn't get
start.
swept. The Leafs didn't get
Never.
swept ever.
No, it's an embarrassing loss for those guys.
I'd say one time in 9 years of playoffs did they go less than 6. Every series went 6 or 7.
Yep.
You know,
I don't know.
that's not a feather in their cap, by the way.
Clean
I'm
up
just saying,
day.
At least it's not.
Brady Tkachuk went home the other day for the birth of a child,
Yep.
which is understandable. Maybe it's good timing. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, what to not.
He was very emotional at the end.
Yeah. Did you see him leave the ice at the end? I only ask because the Spit and Chicklets podcast had some things to say about his future and expressed.
No, I
blatant-
didn't watch. I didn't see him leave the ice.
I believe Biz said there's no effing way he comes back. When he left the ice, he did take a good long
good
pause
look.
and a look around. And
I always think this is the funniest thing ever. It's like everybody can just see what they want to see. When the
Totally.
guy's leaving the ice, it's like, oh, he's out there a little longer. It's like, yeah, he's
yeah.
yeah, he's
Sour,
crushed 'cause
he just
loves
got
the team so much. He's
swept.
crushed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally
It's
did.
it's not like Biz brought up a topic of conversation that's never been touched before. Like it's just a matter of okay, who starts it first, who says it first, and then the pile-on comes.
Well,
But
you know how this
we know,
business works.
but we've had conversations, and we've had it for Matthews, we had it for Quinn Hughes, and Brady,
Kachuk. Matthew Kachuk.
Connor,
Yeah.
Austin, and Brady. So now they get swept, and it's
And
like
Hellebuck now.
now everybody jumping on the bandwagon right now that Brady's done and he's gone. And
It's tough to see that happening, though, isn't it?
no, it's not tough to see it happen, and it's just he's got 2 years left. He can play this any which way he wants.
But like, if you have a no trade and you're going to dictate, hey, I want to go somewhere
Yeah.
else, like they don't have to trade you for pennies on the dollar.
They don't. You're right. They don't. But it's a headache that will follow around the Ottawa Senators and Brady.
Unless he comes out today or tomorrow and he says, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, there's no reason to do it today or tomorrow. You could
You just
quietly
have a
do
baby,
it at the
I guess.
draft.
Does it,
You can do it in the summer.
his performance in that series, I mean, he fights at the start, you know, there's the melee in game 4 or whatever, but does that shout to a guy that's like,
I don't tie it at all to his staying or going.
Okay.
So to me, I don't believe for a second that your performance is like, I'm not trying because I'm leaving. You still want to be as awesome as you can. You want to be valuable. But I do think that I learned something about him as a player, which devalues him to me. And to me, it's that when the stakes are high, he can't focus on hockey.
No.
He's still spearing Jordan Martinook. He's still running guys. It's still like you
But
make
there's a level of immaturity in his game.
But people think it's going to come around, and it might be hockey IQ. Like, it might just be
No,
that
he
he doesn't feel the moment.
He's not Matthew.
Well, and that's right. Matthew's one of the best at taking the temperature of the game, knowing when,
Gets
where, who's
Yeah.
on the edge.
Yes.
Something you thought that you were good at, right?
Yes.
You kind of know when to ramp it up, when to
Yeah.
dial it down. He doesn't have that gauge, and it's
Yeah.
killing him. And he's not 3 years into his career now. He's been a captain for,
Yeah.
I don't know, he's been in the league for 8 years, I think. Is
Yeah,
that-
I do believe that the conversations on what Ottawa does with Brady Tkachuk from today on are legit.
Yeah.
And they're having the same conversations as well. trust me, they'll look at their room and they'll look at the whole season and where it went right, where it went wrong. Nobody's happy with this podcast with the Ottawa Senators. Nobody.
I bet.
Okay. But like, can you say something? Probably not. Right?
Well, if you can't, then he's got too many cards at that point, right? Like,
I feel like you could say
they'd
something.
be nervous. They'd be nervous to go up to him and go, okay, get rid of that podcast. It's not doing you or us any favors. There's only landmines to worry about when you're on air, and we just don't need it. And it did cause issues this year. It did.
we
How
played
could it not?
multiple clips from it.
How could it not?
So I don't know. I mean, do they have what it takes to go up to him and say, we're not trading you. We want you to be here, but you got to start focusing on the game.
Well, I think it's tough when you've been on air and talk about other players or other situations and how other things have played out around the league. And then, you have a bad series like that where you throw up bagels and get swept. It gets hard to be critical on the show. It's just not necessary. I don't know.
We should go. Get to Books.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. Jason Bukala coming off the under-18s championship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how would you know? You were golfing in Cabot.
I watched hockey every day.
You didn't watch the under-18s?
Not that.
Clearly not committed
That
to
was
the show.
not on.
Not
that was
committed
not
to the program.
TNT in the States. Watch hockey every day though.
All right, Jason Bukala up next. And then at the top of the hour, the Messiah, Mark Messier. Do not touch that dial. All right, keeping our foot on the pedal on the Real Kyper and Bourne show from Rod Brind'Amour. We bring in the center iceman on this top line of Brind'Amour, Mark Messier, Jason Bukala. Books, you want to renegotiate your deal now that I got you on the big line?
I feel really good all of a sudden there. Yeah. Said nobody ever, but I appreciate the sentiment anyways. That's great.
So, where the heck are you right now?
I just came back from the last 2 preliminary round games in Trenčín, Slovakia. Trained up there from Bratislava to Trenčín for the doubleheader today, and settling into a local Marriott here in Bratislava now at 20 to 11 at night. It's been a long day, but a good day.
Books, Trenčín, Slovakia, or Trenton, New Jersey? Where would you rather be?
Trenčín, Slovakia.
Just ECHL throwback moment for me. Good to hear.
We're watching kids born in 2011 now.
No,
Really?
you're not. That's
really?
not right.
No.
How old?
No, not yet.
How old?
Not yet. We're watching 2008.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But Latvia had a late 2000. There's a couple of 2010s in this tournament. Guys that are 2 years away from their 2 years away from their draft. Guy, I mean, this is how I feel now. I've been in the league. I've been in the National Hockey League long enough now that these kids weren't even born when I started. So I'm officially old. There's no question about that.
Old man.
There it is.
Lovely drop in. Lovely drop in. Books, before we touch on the ice, you want to anything you can tell us or you're hearing? I know those scouts of yours out there. You guys talk to each other all the time. What are you hearing about Vancouver, or Toronto, or any of these situations?
Yeah, I've spent some time with members of both of those teams this week, just because it is what it is, right? You're on the tour and you hang out a little bit, and there's actually the draft is going on in the hotel bar right now. When I walked in, everybody's down there because tomorrow's a day off. But you know what? They're walking on pins and needles. They really are. Had a really nice long conversation with Mark Leach with the Leafs, and him and I go back 20 years. And you know, he's just they're stressed out, and you know, he's not at his age at 63 now. I think Leachy is. He's seen everything. He's won Stanley Cups. He's done a lot of fantastic things in his career, and I guess it beads off his back a little bit differently than it does for some of the younger ones. But the one thing that does stand out for me this week, especially with Toronto, from afar, I can tell that there's some people over here on that staff that I haven't normally seen on trips overseas. So I don't know if it's an analytics group or a younger computer type of drive that they got going on there. But the look of the group is different this week. And as far as Vancouver goes, nice long conversation with Todd Harvey. If anybody's ever had a minute to talk to Harv, you know, he's just an awesome guy. He's gregarious, and but they're feeling it too. They just don't know where things are going. The one thing Harv brought up to me that was really fascinating, he says, you know, this staff, he's really pulling for his guys. He hopes everybody's going to be okay because they haven't had any draft picks. They haven't had any draft capital to work with per se. They've had the third least amount of first and second round picks over the last 3 or 4 years, he noted. And you know, they want to swing big here at the draft this year with the amount of draft capital they have. They've got a lot of picks, so it's uneasy around here, boys. Let's just say that.
Yeah, not a lot of things settled out there. That's understandable. Has the draft order crystallized a little bit? Like, is there a consensus now about the order that guys will go at the top, or is there differing, depends on your needs sort of thing?
Yeah, I hope it's not really based on need, Borny, but I'm sure that that's entering into the equation for some teams. For me personally, the guys that I talked to here just off the cuff, and even on my list doing my homework this week, you know, I'm looking at the same. McKenna, Stenberg at the top of the table. You guys saw the news today. McKenna's going to the men's world. So that recency bias and how he performs there, I think will have an effect on where he lands at the end of the year, whether it's 1 or 2. Stenberg is apparently going as well. So that'll be fascinating in itself. When you get into the 3-hole, the 4-hole, Keaton Verhoff, some people, I wrote a story that he stood out for me at the beginning of the tournament. He really stood out for me today. He had a couple of points today, really drove play offensively. It was a big punishing body. I want to see it against Sweden in the quarterfinals. That's going to be a real test for him and all of Canada. But the small plays that he makes to escape at his size and the amount of range that he covers with his length, I just don't think to the naked eye people really appreciate all of the nuances that go into having a big guy like that, a big right shot guy. And, I would put it to you guys this way. Would you like to see Aaron Ekblad still playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs all these years later if you were fortunate enough to draft them years ago, high in the draft? I think the answer would have been yes, Borny, because I know you've been searching for a right shot guy that you can lean on a bit, right? So I think that he's right there as well in that conversation. Carson Karls has got a lot of momentum for Prince George, Chase Reed from Sault Ste. Marie, but I keep coming back to Caleb Malhotra. Like Brantford, they should go to the league final here in the Ontario Hockey League, and there's going to be a recency bias there. And he's a top centerman in the draft, and teams need centermen. That's just a fact. And he plays the game the right way. So we'll see how things go. Can I throw you guys a curveball, though? Because I put some thought into this a little bit. If the Leafs do hold on to their pick at 5, and the draft goes a certain way in front of them, I'm starting to, and I tried to run simulators, and I went through the league trying to see who has the most draft capital, be it the St. Louis Blues or, the Chicago Blackhawks, for example. Do you get into a situation, guys, where if I'm staring at 3 or 4 players, and I didn't think I was going to go this way until I really started looking at the depth of my list. If a Daxon Rudolph is available, call it, maybe at 9 or 10, do you trade back? Like if you have 4 or 5 guys on your list at 5 still, they're not all going to go, right? So are you satisfied to trade back and then pick up another late first round pick or an early second round pick to stock the cupboards a little bit more? I think I'm open to that based on how the depth of my list is starting to play out.
Wow, fascinating. That would be quite the way to get assets, right? They need them.
Yeah, you got to lock in that pick first, though.
That's the first thing. Yeah, absolutely. And I did run into the Boston guys. They're a little giddy. They're waiting. They're waiting on deck. There's no doubt about that.
8 days till the lottery.
They're not. Yeah, based on the lottery. That's right.
You're watching.
They weren't giddy. They weren't giddy when they were losing by a touchdown the other night.
I know.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
I know. So. He's Jason Bukala, former director in amateur scouting for the Florida Panthers, founder of Pro Hockey Group, and of course does a terrific job for us here at Sportsnet. So, Books, when you were watching teams in the first round as a scout, by your trade here, like who do you like? Who should feel like pretty good right now? I mean, obviously the Ottawa Senators have to be extremely disappointed, but they can also come back next year and be stronger for it. But overall, what lineup do you look at and would feel proudest as a scout?
Oh, like what you built from scratch through scouting and development. Well, I think Joe McDonnell and the Dallas Stars have done a fantastic job. You start going through that, Miro Heiskanen, Jason Robertson. And have I ever told you guys a story in Chicago, how they got Jason Robertson? Can I tell you if I haven't?
Please do.
So, second round, we're sitting there, and Dallas's table is right beside us in Chicago at the United Center. And they picked, I think, 40, and we were 41. I'm within range there anyways. And Sam, you can probably look it up quick and tell us. But anyways, long story short, our guy we're sitting on is Jason Robertson. We're sitting on him. He's staring right there. And Joe McDonnell from 5 feet away from us drafts Jason Robertson 1 slot in front of us. And we ended up with Alexi Heponiemi, who played out in Swift Current. He was a hell of a junior, but he's no Jason Robertson, I'll tell you that. And what a pick. What a great pick by him in the second round.
He was just listening to your conversation. He had nothing. He knew nothing about him, but he could hear you guys at the next table.
Getting giddy. Yeah, we were getting excited. Yeah. That's when you put your computer down. Actually, we stopped letting guys have their computers at the table. It was just like those little dual tank type things so that they wouldn't have their computer popped up. But you know what? They've done a fantastic job. Draft development, Wyatt Johnston. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches. Even Ottinger in goal, it just keeps going. So I would say that team for sure. There's other teams that have tried to plug holes with, I look at Anaheim. I guess you can include Anaheim in that mix now too. I think they're going to be a wagon for a while. The Montreal Canadiens, clearly the Montreal Canadiens. How can I forget about them? So I don't know. The draft and development model, it hurts for a little bit, but if you do it right, fellas, it can last for a long time.
Books, I'm wondering if younger players will have more of an impact in playoffs than they used to, because the playoffs are, I don't know. They just seem to be handed bigger roles. I'm thinking of Lane Hudson when I asked that question. And so I went to the scoring leaders for playoffs so far, and I was like, let's see how many young players they are. Top 11 scorers, everyone's 30 plus. It's old men. It's Taylor Hall. It's Brandon Hagel is under 30, but pretty much everyone else is like Robertson, Duchesne. Who else? Anyway, a bunch of old guys up there. So do you think that it's a thing where older guys are just going to continue to have success in the postseason?
Well, one thing that stands out for me is like I was looking up the Minnesota Wild injury list even today, Barney, and Zuccarello. And he's not at the top of the table. But where I'm going with this is that like Zuccarello's 38 years old. That was shocking to me. It feels like
But they miss him.
Where I'm going with, and they do. They absolutely miss him. He's a point a game guy. Just shy of a point a game guy at 38. Here's the thing: these guys age in the best shape that they've ever been in, comparatively to 10 years ago, 20 years ago. There's no doubt about that. So what do they have? They have experience. They have grizzle. Some of these guys, when it comes to this time of the year, especially if you're still surviving in the league north of 35, you've probably gone through a few things, and they rise to the occasion. Now, here's the cool thing about it. Let's see what the sustainability looks like as you get through round one. Let's see if some of those younger bodies, if some of those older guys drag them into the fight in round one, if some of those younger guys even rise to another level where there's going to be a little bit more of a plateau from the older guy. I don't know. I'm spitballing. I'm just saying that the older guys that know how to get it done, like everybody was complaining about Taylor Hall's headshot, and that's exactly what it was, by the way. I'm not going to go into it. That's exactly what it was. We would all agree. But you know what Taylor Hall is? He's mean in the playoffs. I've seen this guy do stuff like this going back to his Windsor Spitfire days. Like he's got that in him, and it leaves a mark, and it becomes a distraction. And you know what? Veteran guys, Borny, they create a stir at this time of year. Your partner in crime there accidentally, sort of on purpose, followed Grant Fuhr at Maple Leaf Gardens years ago. These things accidentally happen.
Yeah, he doesn't know what you're talking about. By the way, I made a mess of that question, but guys in the top 10 in points in the playoffs, Kaprizov, Kucherov, Granlund, Alex Tuch, Draisaitl, Gensel, Taylor Hall, Matt Duchesne. Some old guys. Anyway.
Yeah, and Granlund, by the way, 9 lives, right? Like how many times would we all agree that Granlund has been maybe dead to rights? He's been bouncing around, and then he gets in Anaheim, and he's got new life there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, there's also something to be said that some of these guys are now realizing this is it, right? And I don't know when I'm going to get my next opportunity, and it could be over, and make the most of it. I mean, there has to be a good balance.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. And they have to push each other.
They got to push each other, and that's where the chemistry comes in as well. Lots of talk out of Ottawa today, as you can imagine, Books. And in terms of even Brady Tkachuk with 2 years left, that conversation was going to hit the pavement the moment they got eliminated here. If Ottawa were to explore, what kind of deal could they get back for Brady Tkachuk with 2 years left on his deal?
Big deal, because the team's going to have cost certainty for a couple of years, so you got to bump it up river. And obviously, the Florida Panthers, they're staring right at that, aren't they? Especially with where they might end up draft. Let's wait till after the lottery and see how much more noise starts to circulate around that type of a situation. I'm not in the rumor business, but I am in the reality business, and that conversation somewhere along the line is going to raise its ugly head, for better or for worse. You get cost certainty for a couple of years. The Panthers have a high first-round pick all of a sudden, and they're a little bit thin after that in terms of return, asset-wise, prospect-wise. But I'm concerned about it. I absolutely am concerned about it. I think that long runs in playoffs satisfy everybody to believe in where you're going as a franchise. They had some unfortunate puck luck. It wasn't the worst 4-game sweep you've ever seen in your career, but at the same time, it was what it was, and it was a 4-game sweep. So I had them going to the conference final, maybe the Stanley Cup final, actually, now that I think back to it, because I thought that's how much momentum they had coming in. I think there's going to be a lot of questions there, and a lot for me to unpack. It's kind of fresh with me still, so I'm emotional with my thoughts in regard to the process there, but we got to get the new rink. We need to get a good practice facility. We need to see where our trajectory of a whole bunch of different things are going. And then, by the way, at the end of all that, in relation to the rising cap, is that going to be us? Is that going to be our world? So a lot of things to unpack in the offseason there.
All right, buddy, we'll let you go. Safe travels, okay?
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for touching in. We'll see you when I get back.
Enjoy your trip. Thanks, Books.
Jason Bukala
You're welcome.
does a great job
I wish I got
covering
to go to-
people we've never heard of.
I know. I wish I got to go to cool places and check things out.
You can also make stuff up when you've never heard of anybody.
Well, it's a huge
It's
advantage.
a really
I've long thought
simple job.
We've heard of Keaton Verhoff. We've heard of Keaton Verhoff.
No, I know, but it's,
Yeah,
you
okay.
read some prospect writers, they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
Marv Schneefly has
Great
sick
on
hands
his
for, it's
edges.
like, okay.
Listen, I'm not going to disparage the great name of Jason Bukala.
No, this is Book's unrelated. It's saying when you're reading prospect analysis from anyone,
Yes.
it's
So he
That's-
mentioned
You
Florida.
really sound smart when you have no clue.
He mentioned Florida as a Brady destination. That's obvious. Is there any other ones to you that would jump out to you?
well, I mean, are you opposed to the Florida one? First off, because I saw you pinch your nose
Wow.
when you heard that one.
I don't want them to add more good players. They got enough good players.
The Devils,
The Devils.
New Jersey.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of teams that this year they want to make a splash. They want to.
St. Louis?
Couldn't be a Canadian team, right? Not going to go to Montreal.
Dallas?
I feel like
Jason Robertson?
Dallas, New
Between
Vegas.
the Kachucks and the Quins, I think there's something to be said about
And
one
the
stop.
Who's the Quins?
Or sorry, Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes,
Hughes.
ending up in Jersey.
Yeah.
The Quins.
Quins.
Quinn Hughes. There's something to be said about mom and dad wanting one-stop shopping.
I wish the Sutters had done that. They just said, "Look, we're going to play together. This is
I'm
how
not
we're doing
traveling
it."
all over the place.
No,
I'm
You
sorry.
guys pick a town.
Yep,
We'll drive down to
for
Minnesota.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, just like that, 1 hour up. We go national next with the great Mark Messier, Hockey Hall of Famer, 6-time Stanley Cup champion next when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. All right, let's get her going. It's the National Hour on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet, 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary. Streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Also available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube if you can't catch us live. Or the chats and the thumbs up. We always appreciate a thumbs up on our YouTube channel. Give
Crazy.
us 1 or 2.
Yeah, 10.
This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Okay, let's not wait. The guy's busy, man. He's busy. He's Mark Messier, captain of the 1994 New York Rangers. Game 7, baby. Game 7. Moose, what's going on?
Looks like we might see a couple Game 7s in this playoff series so far in this first round.
Yep. Ringing endorsement for Game 7. Of course, you're wonderful.
We've seen a couple sweeps. Now we got to see a couple Game 7s.
Yeah. Just your thoughts, in terms of, like, we'll keep speaking of sweeps, the Ottawa Senators. Like, Mats, I was way out to left field on this one, man. I thought they were primed. The only thing I wondered about was Allmark, and I said, if this guy's okay, the Ottawa Senators would be okay. But what did you see? What was missing? You're such a chemistry guy, and at the end of the day, was that the biggest issue, that just the chemistry didn't come together for the Ottawa Senators?
I don't know if it was a chemistry. It's hard to tell it from the outside if it's a chemistry issue, to be honest with you. I thought Ottawa played hard. Unfortunately, they got up against a first round against a team that is very similar to them, probably with a little bit more experience, with a little more horsepower now than they've had in past years. Freddie Andersen played great. Ottawa's power play really struggled. And, the margins for error at any time in the playoffs are really small. And if you don't execute in certain areas of the game and the series, it's not going to go well for you. So I just thought it was a bad matchup in a lot of ways. Hurricanes have been through, they got some scar tissue on them now, as we all know, from the last few years with a lot of expectations on them. So they're a little bit more battle hardened than the Ottawa Senators. First go around for a lot of the Sens this playoff, but they'll learn from the experience, and hopefully they galvanize even and get more emboldened and come back next year with a real sense of purpose and where they failed and what they felt they did well in the series, and to come back with from some optimism.
Mark, I had someone present an opinion to me the other day, and I'd love to get your opinion on it. He thought that the difference between the regular season and the playoffs now, in terms of intensity and pace, is way bigger than it used to be. Because when you guys were playing, there were actually intensity in some regular season games, fights, brawls, things like that. But now it seems jarring as a hockey fan to turn on playoffs and go, God, this doesn't even look like the same sport we were watching 3 weeks ago.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I don't know if it's more pronounced than it was, when I was playing or before that. I just think that you get so seduced in what kind of team you have during the regular season that it's going to translate into the playoffs there. And as you said, it's just a completely different game. The intensity, the speed, the execution. Playoff hockey demands you to play the right way, and if you don't, you're going home. And we see it all the time. You got to have a team that can sustain that kind of pressure and heaviness that the playoffs brings for 2 months. And it's not for one game. It's not for 60 minutes. You got to do it repeatedly for 2 months. And if you don't have a team that's built for that, not only from, a talent standpoint, but from a physical strength, and then, of course, the iron will to endure pain for 2 months, all to hoist the Stanley Cup. It's not easy, as we all know. It's otherwise more teams would be winning more often. But I completely agree with your assessment. It's a stark contrast, and it's not to say that the regular season isn't good. Like, the regular season is so competitive, as we saw. I mean, it came right down to the final few games to see who was actually going to get into the playoffs. And I think from a league standpoint and from a fan perspective, that's amazing. But you can't expect to play 82 games at that level of intensity that we're seeing in the playoffs. It's even hard to do it for 2 months, to be honest with you. And you can see injuries, guys are banged up all the time. But don't mistake what can get you through the regular season into the playoffs for a team that actually can go all the way and win the Stanley Cup, because it's not the same.
You're watching and listening to 6-time Stanley Cup champion and current analyst with ESPN, the great Mark Messier. So, Moose, just to touch base on that a little bit, because we do see some guys, and Cole Caulfield's an example right now, and he scored a nice power play goal where he was, right in front of the net. He's getting his nose dirty. That's a good start. But to your point, and Justin's, whereas the feel off of his 51 goals during the regular season isn't quite there in the playoffs. And I mentioned Anthony Mantha, 33 goal scorer in Pittsburgh. He's goose eggs as well. What can these players do or feel to get them back into that mode? Is it even possible, because the intensity is so different at times for them during the regular season? Like, what can they do?
Well, look at that. You start with the hardest thing in sports is that it's just not the hardest thing in sports, because there's many different things that are very difficult, but to score when you're supposed to score, when you're a guy on the team that's paid to score, you have to understand that the other team is completely centered around stopping you from scoring, like on the power play with Caulfield and other great players. I mean, they design their whole game plan around stopping the guys that can actually hurt you offensively. So that's why one of the reasons why it becomes very difficult to score. And as we've seen, not a lot of goals are scored from the outside in the playoffs. Maybe on the power play with the east-west pass and catches the goalie coming across, but a lot of screens, a lot of tip-ins, a lot of blue paint, a lot of rebounds, if you will. And I think, if I just going back to my own experiences in Edmonton, the greatest offensive player to ever play the game, the year we finally won in 83, 84 at our first Stanley Cup, Kevin McClellan scored the 1-0 goal, our third line centerman, to win 1-0. We get beat, pretty soundly in game 2. We come home and, we win game 3, and Wayne still has, and all of a sudden, the team put Wayne in position to kind of get ignited, and then he finished the series off for us. So, you got to do it collectively. You got to have enough depth that can withstand if your top one or two guys aren't scoring. And when they do score, obviously it's a massive, bonus, as we've seen in some of the series where their top goal scorers, Stankoven scored 4 goals, I think, and a couple of other series, our guys have gotten hot. So, but if they don't, and the other team, the opposition's game planning, and then you got to be able to win in multiple ways. You just can't expect your top guys to carry and win every game for you. Your goalie has to win a game. Your top player has to win a game. Your depth has to win a game. Your specialty teams have to win a game. So a lot of different ways you need to win over 2 months in the playoffs.
Well, I'm surprised we've gone this far on the show without having this conversation yet, but goal or no goal, Mess, what did you think of the review in Edmonton last night, how that went down? And I know there's some unhappy people in Oilerville.
Well, as a son of a former Islander, I see you got a beautiful sweater behind you there, so that's nice.
Doesn't feel great, I can tell you.
So, I think as tough as it was for the Oiler Nation to watch it, there's no question it was over the goal line. And, if you just take the protractor out in the geometry of the size of the puck, you can see it was, it was over. And for a guy that didn't finish grade 12, I could even see that. So that was a tough call. It was a tough call for the Oilers and the fans, but I think they made the right call.
Mark, a lot's being made out of Connor McDavid's playoffs so far and how healthy he is. Last night, couldn't play 20 minutes in a game, which is kind of unheard of in my opinion, and for various reasons. But if you go back to your prime days too, was there times when you felt a little bit more tired at the end of the year than others? Were there factors, including Canada Cups? Like I just watched Connor's last 14, 15 games without Leon carry the team on his back. And I'm just wondering if I'm watching also whatever's going on with his foot or ankle on top of a guy that's just seems to be maybe running out of gas a little bit here?
I can't speak to Connor because, it's so hard to just watch and see what's going on and really understand everything, psychologically, mentally, physically, and all that kind of stuff. I do know that I can speak from my own experience. In a 10-year span, we played in 7 finals, every All-Star game, 4 Canada Cups. It was basically hockey 12 months a year because when we were finished, we started getting ready for everything else. So very limited amount of time off. Now, of course, you can say we had great teams, a lot of help and all that. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, still the mental grind and fatigue over that amount of hockey for those 10 years was enormous. In today's day and age, as we've seen, for a team to try to get back to the finals 3 years in a row,
in an Olympic year
with a compressed schedule, Florida did it last year, which was remarkable. But look what happened to them this year. There's a price to be paid when you're playing that kind of hockey with the focus and the attention that it's required mentally and emotionally. Everything's taken a back seat if you want to be a part of a team that's in a pursuit of a Stanley Cup, and everything else takes a back seat to that. And then you add on the physical toll that it's going to take. And then the parity in the league. So yeah, it's the odds are of Edmonton getting back there are not good. Can they get back there? Of course they can. They got some great players, but great players don't make great teams. And what makes great teams are teams that are able to play the kind of hockey that wins in the playoffs. And the kind of hockey that wins in the playoffs is you have to defend. Mm-hmm. And if you can't defend or figure out a way to defend, you're going to have problems, and you're not going to outscore your mistakes. And right now, the Oilers are having a hard time defending, and they're up against, unfortunately, it kind of reminds me a little bit of us, the young Oiler team trying to beat the Islanders in 81, I think it was, and then, of course, losing in 83 and then winning in 84. They were beaten up and tired and bandaged together, and we were young and big and strong and could skate and talented. Of course, we had Wayne. But, the Oilers are up against a team that's incredibly young, fresh, don't have a lot of experience there, but have a lot of talent, and you can just see that. And they're big. And they're presenting Edmonton all kinds of challenges all over the ice, through the neutral zone, defending, and then not getting a lot of sustained pressure because they're defending. Look, home is amazing hockey. I mean, look at the size of their defense. Look how mobile Anaheim's defense is, and they're getting pretty darn good goaltending. So this has not been an easy matchup for the Oilers in any way. And to take away what Connors is or isn't doing, they're in a tough series right now.
Mark, you've got experience changing momentum in a variety of ways, goals, hits, all that sort of stuff. I wanted to get your sense on that hit last night. Max Crozier hit Juraj Slafkovsky. I mean, big hit, right? And Slav has been a guy who's had an impact for Montreal in the series and has been very involved. That's Crozier's, I think, first game of the playoffs. He lands that hit. They're down 2-0. Do you believe that hit actually has something to do with the fact that they end up coming back and winning that game?
Well, I think everything helps. I think there's, that's a fascinating series to me. I was really looking forward to watching that series because I love Montreal. I think Montreal is just a great, dynamic young team with so many great players. I love the way they play. I love the job Marty St. Louis is doing with that team. I've loved watching him come of age in Slafkovsky. A great draft pick that's taken some time to find his game, but is maturing and all of it. And then against a team that's, resurrected themselves, done an amazing job as an organization, putting some pieces back together to bolster their lineup so they could even compete for another Stanley Cup. And to answer your question, yes, because ultimately in the end, everything has an impact, maybe in a small way or a big way, but the cumulative of effect over a 7-game series, you can never take for granted. And that's why, you have to have a team that can never pass up a check, because every time you finish your check, it takes a little bit of a toll. The ironclad will to play through pain and always believe under any circumstances you can come back and win. And even if you don't come back and win that game, there's never a moment where the other team can notice any kind of surrender in your game. And that's not easy. And of course it's, we're going to wait till next game. No, you never wait till next game. I don't care if you're losing 6-0, 6-1, whatever it is, you play to the final buzzer because you never show surrender. And that takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of unfortunate, bitter pills to swallow to understand that impact. And so when you're talking about a body check, you're talking about, playing to the end of the game, you're talking about, specialty teams, and it all matters at every turn. And that's one of the things for these young guys, getting their first playoff hockey. The concentration level for 2 months can never waver, because every play has a direct impact on not only that outcome of that game, but also the series. And we see all the time lapses of concentration from goalies, lapses of concentration for defensive play, too many men on the ice. I mean, you have to be able to have the maturity to focus for 2 months, and every shift you play as an individual and as a team. And we've seen lapses of concentration because of inexperience. And that's a long-winded way of saying, yes, that hit.
Yeah.
There's no question that took a little bit of a toll out of Slafkovsky. I mean, that jarred him. You could definitely see that jarred him. Now, did he come back into the game? Yes. Did he play well after that? Sure. Is that going to take a little bit out of him for the next remaining games in the series? My guess is probably, because of the cumulative effect.
Just one more for me, Mass, and just this time of year when it comes to teammates and having a few infectious personalities in the room or on the ice. And in Hagel's
like
case,
yourself.
Yeah, a little bit more off the ice than on the ice. But with Hagel, it's both. It just seems to be both. But this guy, at times, I personally wonder if he's going a little too far with the waving of the hands and the crowd and all of that. But the true effect he has on this team is incredible right now. He's carrying it, and Kucherov hasn't been bad, but it's a little frustrating out there for him because the passes aren't getting through and he's not producing as much as he has in the past, but that's okay because there's Hagel.
Well, I mean, and that's what it takes in order for teams to win. And when you just look at Hagel first and foremost, it is insane the work outage that he puts in every game. The amount of effort on the back check, the forecheck, getting to the front of the net, taking the body, fighting, scoring great goals. He looks like he's going to fall down every stride, and he just keeps going. I mean, it is insane watching him play, but I love it. And then you talk about certain guys in your team that just will never let their teammates quit. I mean, that's that guy. He's a guy that's never going to let him quit, and you got to love him for it. And, you think about when they got Hagel and what they gave up for him, everybody's thinking about that. Geez, that seems like a lot, right? But, wow, the returns for him have been just incredible. He has dragged that team along the way in so many different games and during the regular season, now into the playoffs. And, I would have loved to play with a guy like Hagel, would have loved to play on the line with him. Kyper, we played with guys like that, and they're just invaluable on and off the ice. I mean, it's just great to watch. For me, that's what playoff hockey is all about.
All right, and last one for me, I'll sneak one in too. Kyper has talked at times in this show about leadership and being like, do they have someone like Messier who can grab a guy and be like, hey, we need more out of you? I'm wondering if you can ever do that with a goaltender. Is it ever acceptable? Is it ever possible? Can a player grab a goalie and say, hey, you got to be better?
Yeah. Why not? They're a part of the team.
It just feels like they're their own bubble, that they're so fragile we're not allowed to talk to them.
No, I think
Did you do it
there is that. Sure, there maybe is there that element of that, but I think that, I think figuring out how you need to talk to each and every player is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And every goalie that I played with has never been the same. They've always had different idiosyncrasies and different whatever it may be. Glenn Healy was completely different than Mike Richter. I mean, I wouldn't talk to Mike Richter like I could talk to Glenn Healy, or vice versa. But ultimately, in the end, if they're not playing well, or they're down on themselves, or they're lacking confidence, that's a different conversation. If they're not prepared, if they're not putting the time in, or they're not putting the work in, that's a different conversation. But ultimately, in the end, in order to, I learned a long time ago, the only way that I was personally going to be successful is having everybody around me to be the best that they could be. And I spent my entire year trying to figure out how to motivate, inspire every person on the team to be the best version of themselves that they could be. Because without that, it diminishes our chances. And so, whatever that takes, whether it's through talking to Nick, then Nick comes to me, or talks to Adam Graves, and Adam Graves comes to me. Ultimately, in the end, we got to get to the point where we can help the player be the best they can be. And if that means, kicking him in the ass, I guess, at Tikkanen, or who could absorb that, or whatever it is, it didn't matter. It had to be done. And if you hurt somebody's feelings, well, you know what? Guess too bad.
Mass, I can't.
That's too bad. And I think one of the things that these teams are starting to learn now, if I can say last thing, is that peer pressure is enormous on a team. You cannot be waiting for a coach, an owner, a GM to come down there and be a lawmaker all year long. And I think, if I'm mistaken, I don't know this for sure, but I think my guessing is they got tired of losing in Buffalo, and the players started to hold themselves a little more accountable and asking more of each other. And it's probably when they turned the season around, not because they fired their GM. And of course, that takes a certain maturity for that to happen. But peer pressure amongst teams, Nikki, and you know as well as anybody, is probably the most important thing a team can have.
I can't end this conversation with one follow-up here, Moose, and that is that whatever you just mentioned, whether it's in the back of the bus or at dinner or before a game or after a game, whatever the case is, but when players start going out to the media and sharing it, and we've had some goalies call out their teams this year, I think more so than ever, but is there ever a time when that's okay?
I first of all, I never liked doing anything through the media. I was always under the impression that I wanted to talk to the media from what I wanted our fan base to know. And it's a different conversation. One is because I never wanted the other team to know what I was thinking or what we were thinking or what was going on internally. So I never wanted to give any trade secrets away of our psychology of our team or our confidence of our team or anything else out. So I was trying to keep everything in-house, and never show a sign of weakness in any way. I don't know. And if a coach wants to do that, maybe that might, I don't know. It wasn't something that I think if you do use the media in something like that, I think it should be very measured. And I don't think it should be off the cuff. I don't think it should be something that you're reactive to or emotional because of a loss. I think it should be something that you've thought about. You think you need to say it because it can be used as a tool for whatever reason and for however reason you feel it. But anytime you talk to the media, you talk to the media for a reason. You don't talk to the media out of frustration, out of anything other than really trying to cement a message, not only to your fan base, but to everybody else around the league or even your own teammates. So it's very measured, very calculated, and it has to be done properly in order to get the right message across, in my experiences and the way I viewed it. Now, that doesn't mean that there's, as they say, there's many ways to the one way. So the only way that I knew was what I learned, and it seemed to work okay. But of course, there's other methods as well.
Couldn't agree more. But then again, I mean, that's everything since the day I met you.
Yeah,
right?
you just do what Mess says.
Moose, that's great, man. Really appreciate it. Hey, anything we can do about PK Subban's wardrobe at all? Anything?
Oh, how about? Oh, he loves it, doesn't he? I'll tell you what, it's so good.
You want to try a pair of those pants on?
Maybe pull him aside.
Oh
and have a
yeah,
talk.
you just wait. I got some good outfits coming the way just to counteract that. Yeah.
We can't wait.
Hey Kipper, you know our Halloween parties. I got some old.
I know you do, buddy.
Away.
I know you still got your stuff from the 70s and 80s, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for doing this, pal.
Anytime, Kipper. Great to be on with you guys.
All
Yeah,
right,
thanks
that
for your
is
time.
the great
Appreciate
Mark
it.
Messier, Hall of Famer, 6-time Stanley Cup champion. That's great stuff.
Really good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Yeah.
How much would they have to pay you to wear PK Subban's pants on TV?
Yeah, that's just not me. Yeah, that's just
a no.
So no money. There's not a number. There's not a number.
I mean, yeah, like it's one of those things where I think it's fascinating talking about motivating teammates and players and trying to keep that stuff in the room and not. Yeah, he's
yeah.
By the way, if he could be named the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow, would you just say yes?
Yes.
No, again. Is that what he wants?
No,
is he all in?
Or he do it. You don't think if he wanted that, he would be currently doing it?
Wayne Gretzky, they put in Arizona as head coach,
Yeah.
and there's times he struggled. It's just not a given. It's like it's a craft. You got to learn it. You got to.
But Wayne and Mark were not.
It's just
the
not
same
dropping
in
the guy
terms
in.
Of personality and motivating.
I think
people.
he'd be great at anything. He could be the president of a hockey team. He could be a coach.
Yeah.
He could be anything he wants. It's just a matter of, again,
He wants to go home and not have to think about this stuff.
you want to come and work 24/7 to learn your craft and be
That's a
obsessed to
no.
win.
That's enough. I mean, me, yes. I can see if I'm
us
Messier,
too.
see you later.
Yeah, but we don't have their bank accounts.
Well, yes. No, we do not.
Game time?
Game time.
All right. Give me 1 second here. It's not my lineup, so I'm trying to find my the read here. You know what, boys? I didn't produce this show today.
That's all right, pal.
I was on the
Hey,
flight.
how electric is a playoff game in Montreal, though? And
Give
then
him all
the
credit in the
crowd
world.
shots.
Unbelievable.
I think we should treat the Montreal Canadiens like the Masters treat Jack Nicklaus, and they just get invited every year in the
Even
playoffs.
though they're not in playoffs,
Yes.
you just
Doesn't matter.
play the ceremonial
Just-
first game.
Just you're automatically in this
Yeah.
tournament.
It's game time. Presented by
game
Bet365,
time.
an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. 2 games on the ice tonight, but we're going to look at the Toronto Blue Jays opening up a series tonight against their AL East rivals, the Boston Red Sox.
Whoa,
who
what a cool game to go to.
just fired everyone. The general manager was like, our excellent manager, it's his fault. We're going to fire everyone.
Yeah, well, how about you in hockey get the new coach bump? They fired new everything bump coming
it's
up.
Like, who's on the bench? Not sure. Jays, as you'd imagine, with Dylan Cease on the mound, big faves, minus 135 tonight. We'll get into this a little bit later, but it's Ernie Clement jersey night.
It is hockey
So
jersey night,
cool.
and people are lining up already.
Like an insane, it's the
Like to our building from the.
So I haven't been
Skyline.
watching every Jays game this weekend like I usually do, but I don't think Ernie Clement has hit a home run yet this year.
Is that right?
I think he leads the league in doubles, or he's close to lead
Yeah.
league in doubles, but he hasn't hit a home run. It's his jersey night tonight. Give me a Ernie Clement first home run of the year at 9-1. So there you go.
Mhm,
Ernie Clement to hit a dinger tonight on his jersey night. Anyways, that was game time presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL, must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
It's Ernie's neck and neck with Vlad for most popular Blue Jay
I mean, he's
in the city.
fits the profile, man. People love like a scrappy defensive guy that can have a few knocks here and there. And he also almost won the World Series.
He's also insanely charming.
he's just
Those
he
things
fits
don't
he fits what Toronto fans like.
Yeah.
He really does.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we just heard from Mark Messier and his thoughts on goal or no goal in Anaheim for the Oilers. We'll get our thoughts on how it broke down and what we liked and what we didn't like about the conclusion to the hockey game.
Yep.
That and more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the real Kyper and Bourne show. The Kypreos, Justin Bourne, and back from the dunes. Cabot, citrus.
I was there for,
What'd you shoot?
500. 85.
85's not bad.
Yeah, birdied the
never
first
seen the
hole.
course. Oh wow,
Thought
you're
it was
like
birdied the first
course
hole.
record on
Yeah,
notice.
like perfect drive, right,
They have-
15 feet,
they have
poured
fl-
it in the guts. I was like, I'm about
see
to
you
score
later.
course record.
Yeah,
Floodlights there too, eh? Night golf?
I got there at 9 a.m., left at 2 p.m. So,
Yeah, they got I think
Wasn't
a
there the-
9.
yeah. It's
They
cool.
do a
Yeah,
fabulous job.
They got it dialed in there, needless to say. Anyways, time now for the Acura Performance matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium. Big one for Utah and Vegas tonight. Absolutely massive.
large match.
Few things here for stats for this game, little things. Mammoth can become the 10th team in the expansion era to win each of their first 2 playoff games in franchise history. Just the third to do it. So among teams, just the third to do it amongst teams 2000s or later, joining the Golden Knights and the Predators. So they did it in 2018. Predators did it in 2004. I find it so hard to call this team an expansion team. They always say it's an expansion team, but it's not. Like,
Yeah.
they're not.
Well, they're not. They're not an
Not.
expansion team. They took
All the players
everything that
moved.
was Arizona.
Yeah, an expansion team is
It's
what.
because you had to give Marulo a paycheck and say, all right, yeah, it's still yours.
Mark Stone needs 1 point to surpass Jonathan Marchessault to establish a new Golden Knights record for most points in the postseason. So there you go.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
I'm honestly very excited for this game tonight.
And yeah, so that was the Acura Performance matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium.
Okay, just before we went to break, we talked about the Edmonton Oilers losing and on the brink now of elimination, down
Did-
3-1.
We haven't got you to weigh in or anyone else to weigh
No,
in on that
no.
game or what happened.
You want to go first?
You want my take on the OT goal or the game?
Let's go OT because that seems to be the hottest button topic around the league right now in terms of the process and obviously the conclusion.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to get the call right. The puck's in the net. So I'll lead with that. On the other hand, by the way that these two things have typically been called, I don't see how you can say that puck is conclusively in the net. And they did in the Situation Room say it was conclusively in the net, in which case it doesn't matter what the ref called on the ice and the Situation Room called that. So it just felt funny to me to call that a goal on the ice. People have complained about where the official was. I thought the one official had an angle where he could at least see he was far away, but I just don't see how you call it a goal.
Well, by definition of at least body language and signaling goal, that wasn't the case.
No, but they eventually have to make a call.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
But as far as definitively
he wasn't
pointing
like, bang.
the arm that we typically see on a goal, that wasn't the case.
Right.
So it was really now a matter of the official going back to the timekeeper area and calling the league and saying, yes, in my mind, in my opinion.
Probably was in.
No, not probably. I saw a goal.
Okay.
I saw it over the line.
Okay.
And that's where it stood with the league.
Then why didn't he call it if he, on the ice, if he thought it was in?
I think there's times when there isn't a definitive motion, but it's like, remember that old saying, the official got to say, well, in my mind, I blew the whistle. Therefore, it was after
Intent
the
to
whistle.
blow.
Intent. So my intent, whether or not I showed it or not, was to call it a goal.
Intent to call it a goal.
Yeah, my intent to call it a goal.
Yeah.
So I get where Oiler fans are upset because they didn't get the body language that you signaled. So in their opinion, you weren't 100% sure, but there's no question that he went back and he spoke to the league back in Toronto and said, I saw the goal. I saw it go over the line.
Yeah.
And that's where the league is caught. That's where the Situation Room is caught. It's like, once the official says it's a goal, then it's Toronto, the league in Toronto, in the Situation Room, it's up to them to prove him wrong. and they couldn't prove him wrong.
But they, in their case, so you're 100% right. And often if they would say it's inconclusive, therefore we can't overturn it. But they actually said there's conclusive evidence it's in.
That's right.
But I don't see how they can have that unless they have an angle I don't know about.
So they with the computer, they can circle the puck with the.
And that's this is new though.
3-inch radius.
Yeah. Logically,
and then they
I get
can
it.
draw with their computer the goal line, and they can see.
And you
that
think
it
that's
crossed.
what happened? You think they did that?
I know they did that.
So, like, to me, it's like we've had all this for years, all these maybes. You've seen people sharing old goals.
Old goals. Yeah, I mean, the Leafs got job with one.
That's, Matthews scored against
Jelena in overtime.
Marty Jelena against Tampa Bay is criminal.
No, that's in the net.
In the net very clearly to me. But, yeah, so, like, if I'm an Oilers fan, I'm just annoyed that today we discovered, what was it, Mark Messier call it, a protractor? And
Yeah. Hey, Grok, take away the skate. That's what people are doing. It's like, maybe that's how they figured it out behind the scenes. They asked ChatGPT.
Now, if the official had said no goal, they would have gone back to Toronto, and Toronto would have told them
still in.
It's a goal.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So no matter what the official called,
Didn't matter.
they had, in their opinion, conclusive evidence. And yes, the blade was in the way that didn't show it, but they don't care because once they're in a position of feeling comfortable on the puck being in a goalie's glove and feeling like they can still see the puck in the mesh and it's not lost somewhere else or blocked somewhere else, then they're gonna come to their own conclusion.
It gets a little bit gray when we start doing that. Like, it's almost certainly, and it's probably in, that I don't feel like we've done a lot of that. There are two things that people are suggesting. One being tech, right? You have VAR, and I know people hate it in soccer, but like in tennis, you can see a ball that's not touching the line or whatever. Can we not implement this somehow?
No, we can't, because when it comes to tennis and when it comes to the baseball now with the pitches,
ABS,
right? There is nothing to block.
Right. The ice is an inch thick and there's actually like distortion.
But like you got a camera, in the crossbar.
Yeah.
But like it's constantly being blocked, right?
Yeah.
The goalies are in the way.
But there's tech for this. Like my dog wears an electric collar. No, he doesn't. But like you can't go past a certain line or it goes off. Like I don't.
What was the idea that you were talking about on Twitter?
So that was the other like very basic idea I saw. Greg Wyshynski and Jeff Merrick had talked about it, where you just paint a second goal line 3 inches behind the first goal line, and if the puck touches that, you know it's crossed all the way. How has that not happened? Apparently, it was approved in 2011 and just never implemented.
I mean, that's obviously the easiest solution.
Let's start there and then develop some tech. Anyway,
just a little paint would fix it. I'm feeling for my Oilers fans. I know like all the stuff you said there, but I can't help but feel they got a little bit jobbed in that big of a spot.
It does feel like
it feels.
It feels
jobby.
like we've never really called it like this, where we're.
I always thought you had to like prove without a shadow of a doubt,
conclusive evidence
that it was over, and probably was, but you can't see it. It is the definition of a gray area, and I'm feeling for my Oilers fans.
It's like innocent until proven guilty. It's like we're not sure for sure, so we can't say it is usually how we
That's
operate.
kind of taken away from the fact that they look like the Zigzags playing a summer college team right now.
Yeah, let's get to that fact.
They got filled in for half that game.
What are they going to do?
You got a 2-0 lead. You cannot blow it.
They can't keep
down
up.
in the series.
They can't keep up. They're big. Like Mats was saying, they're fast. They're strong.
Yeah.
They're young. Like they just.
Cutter Goche.
Oh my God.
How about that shot?
He's new Matthews.
How about
He's
that
new
trade?
Matthews.
Yeah, he is. He shoots the puck.
Imagine Philly had him too, and Porter Martone. Like,
oof. Yeah, I mean they know that.
I know they know that,
Flyers
but I can't help but see him play every time and be like, God, he was a perfect Flyer.
Edmonton should take it back for Game 6.
The one thing I think Edmonton's still going to win the series.
You do.
I do.
3 in a row.
Yep.
I can't see this Anaheim team losing 3 in a row, but I hope you're right.
McDavid is still taking the puck to the net like a running back running into a pile. Like he's still just hammered it in there. And I know everyone's like, oh, he's not at his best. It's like, God, he's flying. He's taking it to the house. He's not that hurt.
There's times when it looks like he's looking
Yeah.
favorable to it.
Tender.
But then there's other times like that incredible rush that you were speaking of that he's like Connor.
This is the ultimate, like, shut up, Bourne thing to say, but, like, I wouldn't mind him stopping on one of those cut across the nets. Like, everyone's moving that way. Quit trying to stuff it far side. Anyway.
Did you guys want to talk about the hit? And I know you talked about it with Messier a little bit.
Yeah.
Do we want to use some of this these clips we have on the? Or we
Yeah.
heard enough on the.
It's up to you guys. You want to do it?
Well, we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
I want to
Okay,
get
okay.
into
Yeah.
the hit.
Good
Yeah.
point.
No doubt in my mind that sucked a lot of energy out of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah,
And
that was a
Very
one of our big
fortunate
guys.
that Crozier didn't score to tie the game up before the clock ran out at the end of the period.
Yeah.
That's how big of a momentum shift that I saw. And here's the other thing too: is like Crozier just hit their best player.
Hammer.
How are you not paying attention to Kirby Doc coming off and giving him the biggest two-hander slash?
Yeah, how does the ref not call that?
How do you miss that? Like, off big hits,
They're going to target him.
everybody's going to go after the guy at some point.
Coop was
and
mad.
Rightfully so.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, but like maybe you want to pay attention to that guy.
No
That
kidding.
makes the big hit.
Any problem with the cleanliness of the hit? Obviously, there's head involved. And there's
man,
elevation
that's
after
big
contact.
league playoff
That's
hockey.
through the middle of the body. His head's
Oh,
just in front
it's
a
a
little bit.
gorgeous
the contact drives you up.
Maybe don't skate through the middle, like looking down.
I was
Head-
telling you before the show, I've been hit exactly like that, where you're turning up and you think you've got room
Yeah.
and there's no one there.
Yeah.
And
That's as hard as you can get hit.
Wow, that's Jacob Trouba
Yeah.
kind of hit.
that
over
must
his
feel
career.
like hitting a home run. Like you just don't even feel the ball. Like
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah, it's a sweet spot.
yeah.
So
I've only been on the receiving end of that particular hit. So
and Mark's
I
right.
wouldn't know.
It's like, okay, will that hit? What would that hit feel like for the rest of the series for him? Can he regain some of
Wake
that
up this morning and go,
first or
everything's
second
sort of
game
like a car
magic?
accident.
So let me ask you this: did that game feel like
Turning
the young
point-ish?
team who had the gritty group, older group down, and they had a chance to put them away?
I still like Montreal.
Still?
I do.
I don't know how coin toss to me 50-50 in the series, but I do feel like Montreal's the better team.
I
think they're a little quicker, and at times they can still make inexperienced decisions.
This is what it is. It's the better team,
But
the experience.
They're closing. I think they can close the gap here.
And when every point shot looks like it's going in for Montreal, it's scary too.
Yeah.
Bassey was
And-
better. He was better
and-
in that game.
And the one thing Tampa's found out real quick, they're not running Montreal out of the building. They're not intimidating them. Like, that's not happening. They aren't the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay. They kind of look like them a bit in the regular season, but in this series, they cannot run over people like Florida did the last couple of years.
No, and I don't think that. I mean, everyone makes it like Florida. That's the way you win now. It's like people have won a variety
And
of ways over the
Tampa
years.
doesn't have like an Anderson or a Jack Guy where you still look across the room and go, yeah, those guys kind of can hurt me.
Mhm.
And
there's no
I
doubt.
think Jack Guy's been great, really good.
Yep.
And
Corey
could kick the
Perry's
crap
not
out
gonna,
of
like, yeah.
kick the crap out of anybody out there, and think Tampa knows it a little bit here. And I don't know if it'll be enough, but you're not running them out of the building or the rest of the series.
I'm just watching Montreal, just horrified about how good they're going to be for so long.
Yeah, like all those contracts they got are.
They're just all good and young.
Yeah.
Like, I guess Suzuki's not playing great, so thankfully
Yeah.
that.
How about Hudson in
Oh.
the second round?
You see him strip Kucherov last
Who'd your
night? on
Leafs take?
Flying at
do
millions
you
of
know?
miles an hour?
No, I
Do you
don't.
know? Or did you
I
set me up
don't.
to? Is this
No, I don't.
Is this a director of
I don't.
recruitment situation?
I'm just like,
Let me see.
In fairness to the Leafs and everyone else,
yeah, I know.
everyone passed.
I know everybody passed,
But he is.
like, it's you got to get lucky, I guess. But when you have a guy like that controlling 25 minutes back there,
Mhm.
wow.
Yep. Curious to see what they, can Josh Anderson keep doing this? Can the top guys wake up? Demidov's so good. Anyway, good on that series, or do we want to?
I'm just looking around. I'm trying to see who the Leafs picked. instead.
Let me
Well,
ask you
they didn't
about
have a second.
the Boston Bruins and their embarrassing effort, according to their head coach.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all shocked. Like, off camera, I talked with quite a few people who, after Boston got game 2 and Buffalo felt like they stole game 1, were like, they're going to go into Boston. Boston's going to win both, and this is all over. And it's like, no. So, yeah, I think Buffalo's legit, and I think Boston is. I think this one's over. Not next game necessarily, but I think this is a Buffalo series.
That rink is going to be a hornet's nest tomorrow night. Is it tomorrow night they play? Right? Back in
no.
Game 5? I don't know.
Tonight?
It's just,
No, it's not tonight.
I just wish it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
like the old days when you just knew every other night there was a game and who was playing. Now there's like, sometimes there's 2,
I know.
3 nights
time they
off.
change
I don't
location.
know.
What is this, the NBA?
I don't
Come on.
know.
So Colorado on through, easy 4 games. LA said night.
Waste of 8 days.
For LA, it was like, hey, good thing you spent assets to get Panarin and improve the Leafs draft pick and got two home
So,
gates out of that.
I'm just wondering if teams, maybe even like Sammy's Toronto Maple Leafs, go, is that going to be good enough next year if we're like
that team
LA,
sneak in and
where
get.
just you get into the playoffs and then you're just one and done?
On the other hand, the
Pittsburgh,
teams
is
sneaking in.
Pittsburgh going to be done?
Yeah, but Pittsburgh finished second in their division. Like the teams who snuck in, Anaheim, Utah, I should say they snuck in, but they're up in their series.
But nobody believed, even though Pittsburgh finished where they were, no one believed that they had what it took to go deep.
I have to go deep, no.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone saw Philly mopping them in
Yeah.
5, which I don't think will happen either.
Before I just wanted to say this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365, and I wanted to bring this up because I know Kyper loves the Worlds.
The what?
The World Championship.
Oh.
I know you really love that one. You love it too.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty star-studded affair. Celebrini's going again. McKenna's going again. McKenna's going, not again. Scheifele, Barzell, our boy Morgan Riley's going.
But the lure of international play, these guys all want brownie points.
What about Bedard? Are we going to do this again? I didn't see Bedard listed
There's
here.
Bedsy.
Is he, maybe he's not healthy?
Did he get slighted at some point and he's mad at Canada?
No, he was like the world junior, one of the best world junior performances of all time.
How is this not best thing possible for your summer training?
I don't know.
Go play some hockey games.
Anyways, I know Kyper will be locked into the Worlds. Right?
Is that the one in Davos?
We were mentioning it during game time, but Frank, if you could pull it up, Ernie Clement jersey giveaway night. You'll love this, Kyper.
Oh, look at this.
Look
There
at
we
Springer.
go.
This is Springer going out there
So
wearing.
I saw this video. What is with the visor on this helmet? Is that a 37 he's wearing? What number helmet is that?
This is 22 on the helmet, doesn't
Okay,
it?
but then what's the deal with the visor?
I'm not sure. If you're,
Well,
if
he's
you're
got to wear a visor.
No,
But
dude, it's blacked
tinted.
out. He's not even OV level tinted. It's like sunglasses.
If you're listening on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, it's a video of George Springer wearing an Ernie
Good
Clement
mitts,
giveaway
though.
jersey. No, not
Hey,
bad.
Georgie handled it
Not
well
bad.
there. I'm impressed.
That jersey, that's got to be the best giveaway they've ever done.
I would
It's a
agree with that.
good-looking
I would agree
jersey.
with
It
that.
actually looks fantastic.
So we
It
need
is.
that on our show.
Yeah, somebody's got to send us one. They're probably all gone. There's
would-
people lining up since 8 a.m. this morning to
That
get
would
one,
be
so they're
That
probably
is
all gone.
crazy.
It wasn't 8 a.m., but it was like
9.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.'s crazy.
Yeah, 7:07 first pitch.
Are they not like, hey, if we put this in the shop, would people buy hockey? That could be like our Canadian baseball thing. Make
you put that
hockey
in the
jersey
shop-
versions of the guys.
If you put that in the shop, it would be the number one selling item, guaranteed.
No argument. I might get one.
How?
Well, no.
You gotta know some
with
people
my
who want
money
those.
if it were in the shop.
Oh, yeah.
Not a jersey guy, but I want one.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, we're going way too late.
All right. So you say Pittsburgh stays alive tonight.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh tonight. I know the NHL would love it. Very good ratings for the Pittsburgh-Philly games. People are into this series, so
Hey, great hockey markets. Come on.
totally.
And especially Philadelphia Flyer fans. They've waited a long time.
Buffalo, Boston,
feel
doing
the
big numbers
pride.
too. It's a good U.S. Team year anyway.
A terrific show today. Jam-packed. Rod Brind'Amour, Jason Bukala, and Mark Messier. All right, enjoy the game. I'm taking Sammy to the ball game. Do I have to buy you a hot dog or anything?
No, I brought the wallet this time. So.
Have a great night, everybody.